Sammy Guevara, Daniel Garcia, two young core guys showcased here in AEW on the main event, spotlighting it, and boy, did they deliver. These are two highly talented young AEW stars. And man, they started strong. They were slapping the crap out of each other, literally slapping the crap out of each other. And
all over the ring.
Yeah. And this one was, Sammy Guevara is the interim TNT champion right now. But, we've always been very high on what Sammy can do in the ring and his just, fearless mentality and leaving it all in and outside the ring. But to me, Garcia is the one who stood out the most tonight. This was the best match I've seen Garcia in AEW to date as a singles match or even in a multi-man match. His methodical groundwork was spot on and very impressive. His facials and all that were very impressive, and his acting was very, very well with selling both the offense and the defense on. So I think, to me, as we were talking, just Garcia would just hit it out of the park tonight, and more eyes on him. They'll realize why AEW signed him and why he's paired with 2.0, which are fantastic, which we could talk about after this.
Oh, dude. I tweeted out during the show, like, the fact that Daniel Garcia is 23 years old blows my mind, that he's so young and so polished and talented. And you can tell, man, when this kid wrestles, it's special. He's one of those dudes that, in 5 years, when he knows the business better, he's just going to just dominate everybody. When he's Sammy Guevara's age, he's going to be absolutely dominant. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane. These are two guys that are both young. I mean, like I said, Garcia's 23, Sammy's 28. These guys are going to be in AEW for a long time. And this is one of many matches I hope they have, because their chemistry, dude, I know I say that a lot about wrestlers and their chemistry, but these guys have special chemistry. These guys slap the hell out of each other, and just they're selling that they hate each other so much, and it's so believable because everything they do is so quick and aggressive. I'm sure some of that's youth, just being so young, being able to move that quick and do that stuff. I'm sure that's part of it, but it's also, these guys are both really good in-ring performers. They both can go. And obviously, part of why they were main eventing this match, like this epic show, these two young guys were the main event on this huge show with all this talent on it and all these great matches that we're talking about. These two guys were the ones that Tony said, hey, you're going out there last and you're going to go send those people home happy. And they did that. That was a great match. I know neither of these guys were my performer of the night, but this was the match of the night. In my opinion, this was the match of the night. And I think with a bullet.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about in-ring technicality, in-ring work, storytelling, back and forth, false finishes, overall, like, this was definitely the match tonight. And I said it and you said it, but like, slapping that crap out of each other. This is the chop of the night from SPD goes to, Sammy Guevara was throwing some early chops pretty heavily. Both guys were throwing them, but I think Sammy had one of the stronger chops of the night on Daniel Garcia. And to me, chop of the night, Sammy Guevara in the main event. Well done. Making SPD proud, giving us the woo loud smack chop goes to Sammy Guevara for sure. But this one, I love how AEW does not shy away from giving young, fresh, as some could say, green, even though they're not green, talent, the spotlight of a main event. And it's so refreshing where it's so unpredictable booking. How oftentimes do we try to book the card, and just in terms of the order, and we're never right, and we predict the finishes and stuff like that on the pay-per-views with their bingo cards, which is a lot of fun. But this was props to them for going all in on these young stars, and they delivered. And we saw after the match, we saw Team 2.0 giving us all a little taste.
Our guys.
A beatdown. A beatdown on Jericho, the champion himself, and Eddie Kingston, the turmoil between Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho. Like, there's a lot of different things going on with Sammy, Inner Circle, Eddie 2.0, Garcia, Jericho. Like, where do you see this going? Like, what kind of match do you – I mean, I think the payoff, obviously, Eddie and Jericho kind of one-on-one going toe-to-toe, but, 2.0 is still just kind of making, fools out of everyone by just coming out, power numbers, whooping everyone nonstop, coming out of nowhere. And so they're giving us all a taste and laughing their way back to the locker room. So what do you see next? Like, what do you see Eddie and Jericho trying to team up against 2.0 so they can shut him up, and then that turmoil costs them the match, and then they go solo one-on-one? I could see that happening.
Yeah, dude. I know that Eddie Kingston doesn't play well with others. You know what I mean?
No.
And it just feels like that's what's going on. It feels like, man, like him and Jericho just will not be able to get along. And that seems like the story that's being presented to us right now. That seems like what could be the long term part of this, just in that aspect of this, because
Yeah.
obviously there's a lot more going on here. You know, Sammy and Daniel Garcia, that's a part of it as well with 2.0. And maybe you're going to see more of that with Inner Circle. We got to remember Cody is the TNT champion as well. And Cody hasn't been on TV because he's dealing with COVID. Hope he gets
Mhm.
well soon. But he's going to have a match with Sammy or whoever ends up the TNT champion before
Right.
Cody's back, um, to unify those belts.
Right.
So that's another part that we aren't even talking about yet because
You're
it's
right.
not, that's like on the wayside. Um, that could lead into some more stuff and storylines as well. Obviously, uh, Sammy had that great match with Dustin last week, and
Oh,
they
fantastic.
showed they showed a lot of respect to each other. It wasn't like the Cody stuff where Cody said, "Hey, good luck, kid," that kind of
Yeah.
thing. It was a lot more respectful. So I don't know if that's going to be an aspect with Dustin, but man, there's just so many moving parts
It
to
really
this
is.
feud, and I can't wait to see where they're going because, like again, like we said, we like all these guys that are involved in this.
Yep.
2.0 are absolutely fantastic and hilarious, and not only are they hilarious, but they can go in the ring. So
Yep.
you have these guys that are really funny and charismatic, much like the Acclaimed. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're very similar in that regard, where they're very funny and charismatic, but they can just go in the ring too, and you love it. And then you got a young kid like Garcia with those guys who are a little more
Yep.
experienced, been around a couple other companies, and done some stuff over there. But then you have veterans in this like Jericho and Eddie Kingston and Sammy, who was under Jericho's tutelage as well. So you have all of these young and old and moving parts, and oh man, and championships involved. Like,
Yeah.
dude, this is absolutely bonkers right now. Bonkers.
Do you think Eddie is the one who would break up the Inner Circle?
Hmm.
I haven't thought of that, and I don't want it to happen,
No.
but you would think the loyalty of the IC to Jericho is, like they said, blood through thick and thin through all these matches. Like, I think you're gonna see maybe PNP kind of teetering back and forth, kind of get confused, um, which they shouldn't, because Jericho is the one that,
Jericho's their
I mean,
guy.
like they said, they won the faction of the year for a reason.